Hi, and welcome to a look at how I won my first race in LFM, as the title has already spoiled for everyone. But, yeah, it was the first of 5 at Barcelona that weekend. The rest went from terrible to okay, but this was the first race, so this was the bottom split, being the first race and all that, and I'm guessing I was against other people that were having their first races, judging by how fast they were. So it ended up being a pretty good race, actually. Starting third, I've still haven't got my starts down, as you'll see in a bit. 19 on the list for this race out of 22. How many more? 23. So, you know, first race in, expected to finish in the bottom 5 based on SR. But hey, luckily it didn't end up like that at all. Just finishing off the setting up that I did during the race before it all starts off. I was using a bit of aggressive preset with a few changes to the ride heights, a good bit of an increase on the rear and the front, and let's hop on into this view for the race then. Coming on around, I was shitting myself with this being the first part of the race. I was like, oh my god, I've never done league racing before. How is this going to be like? I just qualified the week previous, and I was nervous. I had picked up my pace a good bit on Barcelona. I've picked up my pace in general, but like it's still a couple of seconds off like alien times and all that. But I think it's competitive. I think I am pretty competitive across the board, and so a bit of a slow starter. As expected, the Audis, as all the influencers are complaining about, are ridiculously fast at the starts and all that. Yeah, already down to 4th then, coming up to T1, tried to take it easy. Guy coming around the outside. So yeah, I settled myself in the 5th. I find myself very timid at the starts. I'm really struggling with my starts, but that's fine. I'd rather be timid and safe, and like I don't want to be too timid that I'm holding people up behind or creating like extra danger. But I don't want to like also like barge in and battle too much when it's going to be a long race, you know, especially in rookie races where people are going to make mistakes and all that. So, yeah, I wasn't too unhappy with the start. I've gotten better at my starts. Yeah, not been too bad. I feel at this corner, I say that and I ruin up at the first lap, but I feel like I've certainly gotten better at it even in this first race. Like, I've got my times down to where, like, a 144 low. I can do like a mid 143 in quali, which is pretty good, I think, in the Ferrari, for someone that is not like a massive alien. Yeah, I broke a bit late, so someone smashed into the back of me there in a later lap whenever they could have gone wide, but instead they kept their line and drove straight into the back of me. So I made sure like there to try and go wide to not bash into them whenever they're turning in, because like why would you go inside whenever you're out braking yourself when you want to go to the outside where the cars aren't turning in? Like, it's a smart way to do it, you know, and it's a safe way to do it. You don't want to, like, I don't want to take anyone out. That's not fun racing. We're coming around to the end of the first lap. We're already over a second up on the guy behind, so it's the front 5 of us pulling away. We were all really close in qualifying, if I remember. My qualifying time was also held up because of it being the bottom split and, like, I guess first races split almost, how it ends up probably being. There was a few people that were like maybe 4 or 5 seconds off the pace that were like, that even though I'd let them out well in front, I ended up catching up to them by the end of the lap, and it hindered me a bit, and that happened a couple of times. I kept giving them more time and it just kept going. Alright, people going wide here. I found myself getting better with T3 as well. A few setup changes to my anti-roll bars seemed to have helped with that. Maybe it was all in my head and I got it fixed. There we go, get around that guy then after his bit of understeer out wide. Take the inside line to try and make sure that I defend well. Not so bad. I think the mistake I've made with that turn back there, the left-hander then going into the right little kink uphill there, is I always broke pretty late and did like very aggressive steering instead of like braking earlier and like taking a smoother line in to get the power down earlier. It's okay, didn't crash into the back of that BMW there actually. The guy that was in first place also went out back there. That was the guy at the side of the track. So yeah, we're back up to third. We're back up to where we started, and we have a good run on on the guys in front here. I've fallen in love with the chicane over the last couple of months. I love it in every game, but like ACC, especially like Spain, I just love it so much. A little bit of oversteer there, had to do a minor correction. Like I've always loved Barcelona, but like certainly in the last like 2 years I've got tired of it. But I think the love has returned again. Luckily. 145s at the moment, so not bad whenever we're behind people and I've overtaken someone. Very tentative around T3 still, because I find it really hard to know when to properly get the power down myself. I find that my grip seems to change all the time, part of my own issues. Yeah, I went a bit too wide whenever I wasn't expecting it. Gave him a little tap, but not much of one. Didn't even bring up like a safety warning thing for a penalty, so, you know. Well, I wasn't necessarily happy with going out and tapping someone, you know, it wasn't like a major tap. Corner here feels really good in the Ferrari. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it. So yeah, at this point, like I'm like, okay, right, I'm in second. I know I've got the pace to get this BMW in front, especially whenever I've seen his lines like that. They were going a bit wide. So I'm like, okay, I can probably do this. And yeah, he takes that inside line a bit too much. I take the inside of the next right-hander a bit too much and almost spin it myself. So we've both messed up there, but I see a lot of people making a mistake there, back there, like what is that, like T11 or something like that, I forget. The left-hander before you go in the right bend, the right hairpin almost up round to the final sector. I see a lot of people like go in a bit too much and really unsettle their car with their suspension. They don't have the right setup for it or anything. So yeah, this guy takes the inside line. Starts pulling back across, but this still leaves me space, and that was nice. You know, very, very fair battle so far. I probably back out a bit too much. I could have carried more space in and like fully been right behind him going up through T3, but yeah, like I completely wash out and mess up there on T3. Put the power down a bit too early, go up on the curb, and then like just set myself up for a lot of oversteer rather than like making sure that the front ends were planted where I needed to be planted to get up and around. Bit of a battle going on behind us as well. If we just go back a few cars, you know, the top 5 were still all tight together, so it's not too bad at all. And that was a better line coming through there. Like I got a lot of power down. I was able to like gain a bit on the guy in front, and pretty solid lines. Pretty solid lines. Started braking here maybe about 5-10 meters earlier than I could do, just because I'm worried about the smashing into some of these people, which is weird considering the BM is like the Beamer has such good braking and can brake like about 5-10 meters later than everyone else with their absolute like max braking. Completely up wide here. I knew the guys weren't like that close to me, so you know, it was. I knew I could just get back in. I'd already lost my time anyway, so it wasn't like I was going to gain anything from it overall. But I've certainly tidied up a lot since this race as well around Barcelona, which is good. Like, and the nerves were getting to me because I'm like, okay, I'm battling for first. I don't want to mess this up, and then, you know, that's when you get inside your own head and start messing up, especially whenever you're doing like your first proper like league races and all that. Because there's more pressure to it. Because like, I want to be clean because the league races really should be clean rather than pubs. Like pubs are annoying, and I want people to be clean for that. But like even just before I started recording this, I had a race in Silverstone where people were. I mean, I go through Magus and Beckett. So I got turned around by a guy because a guy tried to overtake me, and like cut in while I was in the apex, as if I wasn't there. Like he wanted to take the apex, and like he had no right to. So like he sent himself out, and then I had to slow up for a bit, and then like some guy behind me just kept going and kept the throttle down. And didn't even try to steer around me, and I completely hit me with the back and spun me, and then I got turned around, and then I got hit by another guy, and I got like 134 damage in the end. It was horrendous, so I ended up just quitting out of the race and decided to record this instead now, finally. I've been planning to do it all week. I've not done much racing on Spa. I've got my times down to mid 218s now in the Ferrari, but which is decent for like top 10 running, it seems, on like most races on LFM. But I want to be faster. I need to get into the low 218s, if not high 217s, to be starting where I want to. So who knows? I'll probably try and do some spa stuff this weekend. I don't think I'll stream any LFM stuff because of the extra load it puts on my computer. We already saw how the Monza race went last week in the stream that I did. So stabilizing ourselves. We've made a few mistakes now. Trying to get my like pace back up again and get myself sorted, get my head back in the game. Was this before? I need to check my braking on T1. Was this before or after I realized I wasn't doing 100% braking? I always check your inputs every now and then if you feel you're not getting the braking power down properly as you feel you should. Yeah, I guess my pedal, because I use the T3PAs with the brake basher mod, I guess my pedal was just set up just a bit too harsh that I couldn't get 100% braking down. So like that helped quite a bit with my 100-meter braking marker for the first turn and so on. You know, if you're not doing 100% braking, then you know what are you even doing? A 2-second gap now in the guys behind as well, so us front two have pulled ahead quite a bit. I can feel myself gaining in this guy again as he's catching on this back marker, so I'm like, okay, I can really start putting it together. And he brakes really early because of the back marker going into here, so give me a good chance to catch up. And he lets us by, but it was a bit tentative because of the way he broke and where he broke, and it's a bit awkward rather than like maybe trying to keep the speed up and going onto the main straight. But again, I guess this is like probably the opening race for a majority of people. So they're probably nervous too. I think I ended up getting a track warning for that. It was one of like 2 warnings I think I got in this race. Maybe it was just the one. So yeah, we're 0.5 down. We've got a 5-second gap behind us, so we can make our way. Like we haven't really been fighting each other, so we're not messing up. Yeah, I'm not getting 100% braking in whatsoever. So that's one spot that I helped improve my times a good bit as well. Just, yeah, always make sure your inputs are going to the full 100% length that they can. Mess around with your dead zones and that to make sure that it's correct. So you went wide here, so I was like, do I try and stick it up the inside? Same thing happened in another race, and the guy basically came over and blocked me whenever I had like my nose just in. Like I wasn't going to like be crazy and stick my full car in and try and overtake around here, but like I like getting alongside there and then backing out to try and make them think and make them into a mistake. You know, use that psychological game. But I'm never gonna like try and make an overtake into there unless it's like coming up to the last laps of the race and. I accidentally gave him a little tap there because I wasn't expecting to be so slow off. But you know, it was a safe tap. I don't want to anyway. Yeah, I don't want to overtake back there unless unless it like really calls for it, and I feel like I can get the outside line instead of the inside, where I can play it safer and judge where the other car is. So he made a mistake coming off there. I see a lot of people always hitting the curbs. I do it too, hitting the sausages and that around in the worst ways around the chicane. Still running slow lap times though. Got a good run though, got right in the draft. I just couldn't hold it around the inside there. I didn't want to like risk putting the foot down too early, understeering into him, so I gave him a lot of space. I was very respectful. Almost too respectful, too timid, but you know, we were still going, which is the important thing. Favager was behind us because I knew he was quick, so like he had a 3-second gap to us now. So I figured he'd probably start closing in as well, about 2 seconds from us fighting each other. So like we're on lap 7 now. We've been going for a good bit. Or lap 8. goes wide and leaves the space. I probably should have backed out of there a lot earlier so I could get like good speed around that corner, but like I think he was expecting me to keep going around the outside, so we both backed out a bit earlier than either expected, and ended up both just taking each other really slow. Like my intent was never to overtake there, it was again like stick it up the outside or inside and make them think and make them fuck up their line, but I ended up just fucking up mine. So I probably could have had the overtake done there if I just pulled back a split second earlier and got like a good run then down to the left-hand hairpin, let's just call it. Fab's really gaining on this now. Pretty sure Jim from Crew Chief was telling me on the year that he was running a second a lot faster than this too, or thereabouts, and sending the fastest lap to the race. So I was like, yeah, okay, we need to get a move on. Almost hit him. I tried to like take it to the outside, but I was locking up at that point, so like I was lucky I didn't hit him. And like, yeah, sure, he's going slower than my pace at the moment. Like, obviously that would have been my fault because, again, like you just because you feel you've got a faster line doesn't mean you can just like power through someone. You know, it's up to me to avoid that. So I'm glad I did, but it was just lucky. I was very lucky. And again, this is a mix of like nerves and still trying to improve my racecraft going on. I've got such good lines coming out of here compared to him. Like I can really just absolutely send it at some point. If I got like a good run coming out of that other turn, I'd be able to like really just overtake him easily. Either throughout braking or like trying to do a switchback. Always trying to get a good run out of the chicane to really vamp it along here. I think I tapped him there and added like an extra 9k to his speed. Whenever I look back at the replay before. So if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have just tapped his outside edge, just a little teeny, if I hadn't boosted him, I would have probably had him there and then. So Favager's now right up behind us, basically. Yeah, you can see he's watching us two battle. It's like, okay, these two are slowing each other up right so much that the wind's right here for the taking. So, you know, we're looking at a three-person battle for the lead, pretty much, seeing as Robinson has now dropped back. But then, yeah, car number 7, the BMW, just coming out of that corner, absolutely messes it up. Remember whenever I said I wouldn't try and overtake here unless it really called for it? Well, I did it anyway. I knew he was slow coming out of here and I had the outside line and I knew he was respectful of position and all that and leaving space. So I figured we could probably both get through there and just rewind that back for a second and look at his line coming through. Like, yeah, he broke early, he left a lot of space and he took it slowly, and then I had the grip along the outside to really send it on. So that was that. And then Favager was right up behind him. And then he was able to do the overtake I was thinking of possibly able to do up in here. So yeah, so it ended up being myself and Favager going for P1 to go back to me for a lap. So if we had the overtake, we were already behind that guy for like a good few laps. There's only like 2 and a bit laps left. So like that's why I went around the outside there, because I was like, right, okay, we're on lap 10 now. I've got to go. It's now or never, especially with Favager catching us, and it worked out. So, you know, like, I felt it was a good, friendly enough battle. A couple of mistakes, especially for me boosting him down the main straight and adding like an extra 10k, but you know, we made it in the end. Also, looking at the bottom here with Size getting disqualified, that was because he had a false start or whatever and got a drive-through very early on. I don't know what it has been, but I've seen so many people get drive-throughs and just never serve the penalty. And I had a guy in another race that was like battling the guy in front of me in the last few laps, even though he had a drive-through, even though like it would not help him whatsoever. He would have been safer just leaving it and letting us two battle for, I think it was like I don't know if it was podium, it might have been top 5 or whatever. There's just such an amount of people getting drive-throughs and then like going on until they get disqualified or just not serving it. Or acting like they don't have a drive-through. It's weird to me. I'm not saying like immediately like start doing like 3-minute laps until you serve your drive-through, but like what's the point in fighting in around the last set of laps, you know, because you're just slowing you're both of you up. Let's watch from Favager as we watch my lines going through. See, I think we're coming up to the last lap now. Yeah, we're coming up to the last lap now, so I'm like, okay, I've got like a half-second lead. I know I'm a bit slower than him, but not enough to lose position. So I'm like, I'll take defensive lines, I'll take wide lines at the hairpin, avoid the apex just a bit, just so I don't like unsettle my car over those curbs and ruin my day and slow myself up to allow Favager a gain on me, you know? So I'm willing to be a bit slower to make sure that I can get through and get, you know, onwards. So I went full defensive here instead of trying to attack my own lines, you know? Also, that lack of 100% braking really fucked me over. I was glad I got that sorted, it really helped. Just trying to make my car as wide as possible, even if I end up being slow, especially now that, again, like I see the possibility for a 100% race record. Just almost oversteered it there, though, going around here as my tires are getting a bit wary with my setup. And I'm just getting nervy. Yeah, slight bit off track there, just a tiny bit. I think I did get a warning for that lap, which was probably the second warning that I was on a bit earlier. So yeah, another couple of laps, Favager probably could have got me. But would I have been as timid if there was another couple of laps? Who knows? Really taking it slow through here, just taking as wide a line as I can. Back to me, coming in, and there we go, there's the checkered flag. First race, first win. The number 7 car also got a drive-through in the end, but yeah. F3 I think, isn't it, to do the thing, and then we can look at the worst donuts possible. So yeah, that was the first race. Again, LFM, first win, I was happy with that. I thought it was solid, if unspectacular, if a bit slow towards the end. And there we go, worst donuts of all time. I'm terrible at doing donuts at the best of times, let alone on the SEC. And yeah, that's that. Let's take a look at the outside line going for that overtake before I go. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So yeah, we're going around here with the battle through T1. Certainly racing very close, and again, yeah, you can see Favager being very close to us. He gets down in the power really early because he's nervous on me, and then just sends it just a bit wide. Just a bit wide, and then that's the opening that I need to take it fully around the outside here, leave enough space for him on the inside while he takes the full inside line. Then we're just battling it down here. Then yeah, he broke really early. I probably could have ended up taking the inside apex, but I didn't realize where he was, especially in VR and not using the radar stuff and that. But yeah, able to get it and able to send it and take the victory. There we go. Where is it? So yeah, not so bad. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with having the victory, having a great time. I'm really loving LFM. I'm hoping as I go up through the championships, or like the levels and that, and whenever I can get out a rookie and hopefully get into some higher tiers, while there'll still be bad drivers or people that are a bit awkward or whatever, and while I'll still make mistakes. Because that's not to say like I'm perfect or anything. I've made mistakes. I accidentally spun someone, a BMW in one of the races, and I felt really fucking bad about it because like it was on that hairpinny turn going into the final sector, and just it was. Yeah, it was. I thought he was getting in the power soon. He did. He did get in the power, and then he broke again. And then I was into the back of him because I was pretty close, and I probably should have eased up a bit to give him that space and that room for a mistake. But no, like it was ultimately my fault in the end, and so I'm not perfect. I'm not expecting anyone else to be perfect. I'm just not expecting stupid mistakes like someone coming in and dicking me into T1 or whatever at the start of a race and bashing into the back of me just because they will not brake early or because they're not afraid of losing any place at the beginning. Like maybe I am too timid. If anyone has an opinion I'm too timid and the race starts, then fair enough. I'm trying to tighten that up anyway. But again, I'd rather get through at the race than accidentally like nudge someone out. I'd feel worse about nudging someone out than risking someone smashing to the back of me because they're an idiot, you know? Let's have a look at a super slow-mo donut then while we finish this off. Anyway, yeah, so that's, again, repeating again, first race, first win. Happy with that. Pretty thrilled. And, I don't know, we'll be doing more LFM stuff. I think next week is like, I don't know what it is for the rookies, but hopefully we can get by the rookies and get on to something else and start moving up. Is it Suzuka and Silverstone? Or is it Silverstone and Coda? Or is it Coda and Imola? I know there's a mix of all those races coming up. But, yeah. Rightio, I'm off. Again, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Hopefully you did. And, yeah, Slow Boy wins a race. It's a great time.